and and then whatever you think is significant for you being out of the Speedrome.
Okay.
I'll be like your little name card in front.
Okay.
Whatever he says, right? Go.
Hello, I'm Kimberly Gibson, and I first came out to the Indianapolis Speedrome in the early 80s. We came out as a spectator to watch the Figure 8 Series race, and I had been racing quarter midgets since the age of 5. I started off racing from the age of 5 and continued to the age of 16. At the age of 16, I started racing full midgets. And you have to be 18 to run with USAC, so I ran with a series that was called Cora, and I ran at multiple tracks with Cora, and then I did so well that I was able to come to the Indianapolis Speedrome at an early age of age 17 and race with USAC, which was the USAC midgets, and we used to run at the Indianapolis Speedrome on a weekly basis. And I got to start running there, and then from the midgets, I went into stock class, and I ran stock class for numerous years. Into the late model division, ran the late models and the Figure 8 division. So I was racing at the Indianapolis Speedrome from 1986 until 1999. A wonderful facility to race at with numerous spectators, filled the stands on a weekly basis. And at one point in time, I raced every Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday with different series that the Speedrome put on, and we would travel from different tracks, and then we'd always come back home to the Speedrome.
And you've had sort of a rather unique situation for you. One, obviously you're a female, as we all guessed, but to go from the open wheels to the stock cars, and that's rather unique. Did anybody in the open wheel crowd sort of make fun of you for making the transition, or what was your reaction? What was your reaction there?
It was a very hard transition. We went from the open wheels to the stock cars. The midgets went to put starters and clutches on the midgets, and unfortunately our family was not able to financially afford all of the changes that was going to need to be made for the midgets, so we were going to have to sell the midget and get out of it. So I went to the stock car division, and I was very fortunate because I had a lot of following and a lot of people that followed me from the midget days to the stock car days. And even after that, a lot of the midget people like Bob Higman, he helped me out, and continuously Mel Kenyon, Rich Fogler, all of those guys continued to help me even though I was not in an open wheel. They had taken me under their wing and went into the stock car division with me and followed me through. And also like Jonathan Bird and several people, even though I was not racing in the midgets, they went with me to the stock cars and followed me and was huge fans of mine, and that's what racing's all about, is to race with the fans and for the fans.
Your first days in the open wheels out there, what was your favorite person to run against out there in those days? Yeah.
Actually, I was so fortunate to be able to race with the guys that raced in the Indy 500. I raced with Tom Bigelow, Gary Bittenhausen, Johnny Rutherford. I was able to run with so many of the older Indy 500 drivers, and then I was fortunate enough to be able to get into the old timers and get to go with them and to the different events that they did with the Indy 500. But because I knew them from midget days, I was able to go with them through the Indy 500 days and follow their careers, like Sam Eisenhower and all of those guys, that they ended up inviting me to their banquets as well. So I was fortunate to be able to go to the upper divisions and upper leagues of racing throughout. I've been so fortunate with racing to meet so many fabulous people and get to do so many things that many people would just wish that they could get to do, and I have been so blessed to be able to do those things.
Then you go from the open wheels into the stock division, and the Novas and all that. Did you have a favorite person to run against, favorite situation to run in the stock cars? What was your favorite thing about the stock cars?
I believe the stock car division, I didn't necessarily have a favorite person to race against. I raced against myself. I would constantly